Alright, I should be live again. Bang pow. Welcome, Samurai, to the dojo. Am I down with the white tea? He asks. I could drink the white teas. I actually might have to start drinking more because surprisingly, like green tea, caffeine kind of wrecks me. Like I'm really sensitive to it apparently, so I need to drink less of it. But yeah, white tea's good. There's some astringency to the green teas that I really like, and I feel like oolongs, it's like gone, and white teas, it's not strong enough. So anyway, that's my tea rant. Are we back? Are we live? Might need to refresh. All right. And there was one other thought I had that just really smart use of introducing elements to bring up the energy in sections. Like, for instance, when he first gets into the drop here, that chord, low pass chord sound is not here. It comes in about 4 or 8 bars. Super smart, super smart. I like a minimum amount of effort needed to do something, and he's doing that here really well. So this is a really cool track, and according to his SoundCloud page, he actually won the remix contest with this. So congratulations on that. That's awesome. You are a true music samurai. Cool stuff. All right, shall we venture forward? So I believe Lera Garo, whose name I cannot seem to pronounce well, it will be next. What track was yours? Yours was the one with a lot of letters, and you said it was 60. All right, looking. It's funny. I say this, I'm like, oh, this is short, but it's at 60, so it's actually 3 minutes. That's funny. All right. Let me just double check. That's what's up. Oh, so SWX Prod dropped something. Looks like Voodoo dropped some stuff that I will... Oh, so did Pokey. Cool. Let me grab that. It's going to start playing probably. Pause that. Oh, I just want to download that. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab these. That's fine. Tracks. Set it up real quick. Gentle Ben's got something he wants to show. Drop that. Wait, that downloaded an HTML file. That is not what I want. Did that do that for Pokey too? No, it didn't. That's strange. Ah, because that is the actual Dropbox. All right, that makes sense. All right, so... Liroguro, and then we'll do Prod, Pokey, then Ben. All right, so let's take a listen to, this is Liroguro's track. I believe there was no name. It's just a lot of letters. Maybe there is? Was there a name? Mist Dungeon. That's what it looks like. All right, so this is Lara Gro's track, Mist Dungeon. Okay, cool. So the reason I asked him in chat, why did I delete that? What is the track made for? Is because this is clearly not, a dance track. And if I'm gonna provide feedback, I don't want to say like this needs a beat, because if that's not what his intention was, then he doesn't need a beat. So he is claiming that is a reference to Mystery Dungeon, which is a Pokemon game. I'm guessing that means this is sort of supposed to be atmospheric dungeon music for the video game, in which case, okay, cool. And I will provide my feedback from that perspective. So as far as creating like some sort of atmospheric sound in a game, I think you've done a good job of creating the atmosphere that's totally interesting and not obtrusive. That said, I think it could be more. Like, I think it doesn't change so much. This part here is very similar to this part. Even though it sounds like maybe you opened up some filters throughout the entirety of the song, it definitely needs to go more places. You don't need percussion change some sounds a little more, make the filters or the instruments come in and out, peak higher and lower, a little more dynamic, basically. 808 Slick Beats asks, what is the current queue? The current queue is about 3 or 4 tracks. Go ahead and submit one. Yeah, so I don't think I have much more feedback beyond that. The actual sound choices might be a little... what's the word I want to use? A little harsh. That might be a result of just... Yeah, so the kind of like upper mids area, like 3.2, is pretty harsh. So I just dipped it a little bit. So here's it without that. And now I'm going to add the equalizer, which will be reducing the frequencies around 3.2. Sounds just quieter, a little less harsh, and I think it's a smart mastering change. So yeah, cool stuff. Interesting to get a non-dance track. So who is next? Let's see. Looks like SWX Prod was going to be next at 125 BPM. Yeah. Yeah. And let us take a listen. Let me make sure my EQ is off. Yes. Sweet. So that was pretty cool. Let me go back to Is this Fruity Loops? Because that clap sounds like Fruity Loops. I don't mean that in a bad way. So what you've done here is a really, really solid execution of, I guess what I'd call like the Skrillex style dubstep. There's a lot of I'm guessing there's a lot of inspiration from him or people he's inspired. You have like the growls towards the end. You actually like bring up the, what's it called, double time, I believe is the word. You have the kicks come in a little more often. The kicks bring up the pace. I think you could probably bring down the energy lower in some places. It's a pretty constant. I'm trying to figure out exactly why it feels like it doesn't change so much, because it actually does. Let me do this. Wait. I want a blue. I want to look at this in blue. There we go. Blue's better. I think the red was what's throwing me off. So maybe not. Maybe you don't want to bring it down. I mean, I think this is an area where you can choose if you want to sculpt the energy a little more or keep it kind of intense the entire way through, which is how you have it. I don't think changing that is a bad choice. My personal taste would say to make it a little more dynamic, but I'm just trying to think like off the top of my head, like the Skrillex tracks I know, they're pretty intense like most of the time. So So one thing, well, hold on a second. One thing that Skrillex does really well is he lets his melodic elements breathe really well. He gives them a lot of space to say what they want to say. If you listen to I'm trying to think, like Bangarang off the top of my head, or process, maybe too much instruments. It might be because, like, I think what I'm just using Skrillex as an example because I honestly don't listen to too much of this kind of music. He, as I just said, he has the way he arranges his instruments is such that there's not a lot speaking at once, but it's fast and it's intense and it's melodic. And I think probably giving more space to your melody when your melody's coming through and like letting the bass come back a little bit. And you can do that with of course, without reducing the intensity of the entire track, but letting things come into focus more. I think maybe that's what I'm trying to say, is that when you're listening to like a Skrillex track, for example, or when I'm listening to a Skrillex track, for example, he's got the sections where with the growl basses, and then he's got the more melodic sections, and they generally switch focus, right? Like the growl basses are like very aggressive growly, and then the melodic sections are like very melodic, but the actual intensity is similar. So I would recommend that's. I wish I had a little more concrete advice than that, but that's kind of what I'm feeling from listening to this. All right, so let us move on to the next one. I believe we've got Pokey with Mjönster. I need the BPM though. Did he say it? Or am I crazy? $137. It looks like it's in the track name. Am I crazy? 137, yeah. All right, so let's listen to Mjönster. Pokey's track. All aboard! Cool. So I think Pokey said that was a joke, but that was actually pretty awesome. So good job on your joke being successful. I'm just going to keep my feedback pretty concise here. I think you should actually finish it, even if you think it's a joke, because it's a good track. 2, tone down the melodic, or not the melodic element. Tone down the chords and stuff. They're a little overpowering in the mix, like in here. The fat saw chord stab things, those are I think that's actually what I would call the melody here. Those are really loud. I would tone those down a little bit. And then shorten it. It doesn't need to be as long as it is. You can definitely the intro build up, which is like this entire thing, which is 2 minutes, could probably be much quicker. So I would focus on just maybe cutting 25 to 30% of the song out to make it just like go a little quicker. And then at some points, I don't know if you saw me, I busted out Thor, but I'm actually getting some delay on Reason, so I won't be able to solo over things today. Unfortunately. It's unfortunate. But at some point, I think you should have like a focal melody coming in like the center to combo with your stab melody. So for instance, you have here. And now here, add in a melody like maybe pan center, sort of a higher pitched, simple thing. Do you know what? Hold on. Sounded like actually that C was working. So I'm just gonna do something stupid. That one. What? That note. Maybe that note. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. I want that to be bar. Alright, I'll just demo with these 2 notes. I'm just gonna throw an ARP on that. It's probably going to be far less interesting than I thought it was going to be. Let's see. I think that kind of got my point across. As much as interesting as a 2-note arpeggiation is, just putting something front and center to kind of add another piece. But Yeah, so that's cool. I dig it. If that was seriously a joke, you made a good joke. So good job. All right, so let's move on to Gentle Ben. So gentle. Your thing was, what'd you say, 69.1? 69.1 BPM. 6.8 time signature. I think that doesn't really matter for our playback purposes, but let's put it in anyway. Green is cool. I like green. Let's take a listen.
Through the eyes of a conscious stranger, read me. Read the lines where their feet met the ground. Read these. Many more there behind her approaching. Read me. Where there's one tear and many are found. Read me. A reflection of light from a cut stone. Read me. A projection cast onto your shell. Read this. As the light speaks the words that he won't say. Read these. Every story has someone to tell. Through the eyes of a conscious stranger, read me. Read the lines where their feet met the ground. Read me.
Tight. This reminds me of something, and I'm trying so hard to remember what it is.
Are found. Read me.
I think it's a song I made. Hold on a second. Where is that? track. Program drums, okay. All right, 1 second. I think I'm not gonna steal your show. I'll comment before I play my track, but this reminds me of a track I made actually. Where is it? Do I have it? Where? Music, iTunes, media, music. Yeah. No. Unknown. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Anyway, so what are my thoughts? So what's good about it is I think it's an interesting track. As people said, the bass parts are really cool. I agree. The walking bass is super cool. I like the jazziness.
Read the line.
I think the composition is cool. I like your 6/8ness. I like the way you have elements coming in and out is done really well. The flow of the track is nice. It's not terribly up and down so much, but it's not. This track really doesn't want to be. It's just like a lounge kind of thing. I think so. What I not what I don't like, but what could be better is the actual sound choices could be stronger. Like the
Reflection of light from a cut stone.
it has a feel of you just like pulled preset string patch, preset synth patch. Maybe you didn't, maybe you programmed them. And if you didn't, then I think more effort finding more cohesive sounds is a good exercise. And if you did program them, more effort making them sound more cohesive would get you a lot of distance. Yes mentioned he wants something for the vocal. I think the vocal. Let me take a listen.
Read the lines where their feet met the ground. Read these.
I think the vocal sounds similar to what I just said, a little separate from the piece. I think I see a pokey. I think I hear reverb on it. You might want to process it a little more, compress it a little, glue it, mix it into the track a little bit, and bring everything up. I think that making the vocal feel like he's in the room with the jazz players, with the players more would be cool. Would help it glue to the track more. How that sound, that's awesome. The drums need to be louder. I really, really like the drum pattern, but it needs to really snap at me. I think it sounds like perhaps you were going for a spatial thing where you have them mixed back, but I really think you should pump them up. I'm actually gonna do some mastering.
Conscious stranger, read me.
Oh, I know what it reminds me of now.
Read the
Oh, I know exactly what it reminds me of.
lines
Kid.
where their feet met the ground. Read these. Many more there behind her approaching. Read me. Where there's one tear and many are found. Read me. A reflection of light from a cut stone. Read me. A projection cast onto your shell. Read this. As the light speaks the words that you won't say. Read these. Every story has someone to tell.
So basically, I just added a maximizer, which is a limiter. I lifted up the highs, put a reverb on the track, and carved out a little bit of the low, the 480 hertz, which is I think around where like the lower end of the guy's voice is, because I just wanted to remove a little bit of it, remove a little bit of its presence, and that kind of makes it feel like a lot more glued together, I think. It actually makes me want less, or no, mixing it up and compressing it actually makes the drums sound better. I still think they could be a little louder, probably not terribly up front, but yeah, anyway, this is a really cool track. I think just focusing on mostly some production and some mixing, I think would get you farthest. The actual arrangement is pretty solid. And I like how the intro, you're like, is this gonna be like some chill wave track or what's up? And then it comes and drops into this jazzy thing. So cool stuff. I dig it a lot. So what this reminds me of is a game soundtrack called the game's called PID, P-I-D. I actually bought the soundtrack. It's so good. I actually think you'd probably really like it, Ben, because it's a very similar sound. Where is it? It's like not even on YouTube because it's so unknown. Do I have a dead body on my bed? No, that is a pile of blankets. I only half made my bed. All right, so that was sweet. Let's move on to, well, what time is it? All right, I can do a couple more. Let's do, looks like 808 was next. Yeah. And then Quantum, you posted 2. Would you prefer one over the other? Oh, let me drop the track I was thinking about. So it also reminded me of a track I made I was making for a friend's video game once. It's this guy. That is not the BPM. What is the BPM? 90? So yeah, that reminded me of that track. So this is Extinction by 808 Slick Beats, unfinished. Let us take a listen. Cool. So that is not at all what I expected from someone with the name 808 Slick Beats. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe the chord pattern is like the same throughout this entire piece. That is the only thing I think you'd probably want to change. Like it's solid for what it is. It's just like a cool orchestral piece for some sort of, stalwart, motivational, uplifting, perseverance sort of scene in a movie. Prod says some instruments too shy must stand more present in the track. Yeah, you could do some mix work here. I think it gets the point across. I just think maybe some more harmonic changes would make it a little more interesting. Some things movies do a lot is that they actually change the tone and the chords to what's on screen. I mean, clearly this is not. Actually, I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be mistaken. That you are not doing this for a particular movie or something. This is just for fun. So, yeah, I think it's cool. I actually don't have that much feedback about it. I think it's solid. If you're thinking about how did you finish this track, I'm sure you have an idea of the literal scene in the movie or the scene in the story that this track is supposed to be backing. And imagine how would that story actually evolve if I was watching this movie? And then, okay, let me make a sound, or let me continue evolving this track for that scene. And that could probably give you enough direction to keep moving forward with it. Cool stuff. So unfortunately, guys, I believe my computer is like on its last breath for streaming for about 2.5 hours. So I'm gonna have to call this session. But it was awesome and a lot of fun. Sorry for anybody whose tracks we didn't get to. We will be doing this again next Saturday. Next week, possibly Saturday and Sunday. I'll be looking into doing it twice. So again, thank you all for hanging out. It was a lot of fun. Click the follow button on the Twitches, and I'll see you next time.